sun is actually shining. It does do that here sometimes. So we're going to make the most of the sunny day and carry on with the rattle can in the Mazda. So I'm going to do some wet and dry rubbing now first. So I've got some a sticky pad with a interface pad, foam pad in between, and some P600 wet and dry on there. Bucket of water with a bit of soap in it, and a rag to wipe things down with so we can see where we're going, and plenty of discs to use up. So the idea, simply cut through the lacquer that's peeling off, leave hopefully the red base, which we can then use our rattle can straight over the top of that. If I burn through anywhere to metal, then I'll brush up a bit of epoxy resin, epoxy primer I should say, to cover those up, and then we'll deal with those as we come across them. But hopefully there won't be too many dramas. We're going to rattle can the Mazda, and the reason, pretty obvious, the lacquer is flaking off horrendously, really bad, and this is in the last 12 months or so it's gone that bad. So we've got a section there on the bonnet which is bad, so they're going to paint the whole car. Already done the wing, and considering it is a rattle can, that's not too bad. Could do with flatting and polishing back, but we'll come back to that another day. Do the roof, want to do in red to get rid of the black, so that'll be a job to do that. And the other areas, it is just lacquer peel mainly. This ducktail spoiler has been painted really badly. There's something horrible going on there with crazing, so that needs to all come off and be sorted. Lacquer peel on the bumper, lacquer peel over here as well, the same. It's got some moisture or something going on there, so we need to get that off, sort that out. Got some where the car's been painted previously, not prepared properly underneath that, so that needs to be flatted back and sorted out. A little bit of damage on the door. Now this is just a tart up job on this, so I'm not going to worry. I do have spare doors for this car as it happens, so eventually when I do a proper job on this, I'll be putting a new door on this. But this has obviously had a bit of something nefarious has gone on there. It seems to have come unskinned there, so we'll just be doing the same tart up a job on that, just to tidy it up, just to make it look a bit more presentable than she is at the moment, because this is my car, this is my daily driver, so just to make it a little less ugly than she is at the moment. So a little hack which I discovered off good old YouTube, 9mm deep socket, push onto those, and it pushes the little tabs flat and you can pull the things out. Happy days. Right, now that bit's dried off, you can see the difference between where we're trying to get rid of here. So we want to get rid of all of this lacquer, but keep this red, so it's a bit difficult to do. Of course it's wet sand and it's a bit difficult to see what's going on. But if I dry sand, I just burn through the paper in no time. So it's just a matter of doing the best we can. So see here, trying to avoid this happening as best we can, but it's difficult on corners. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that now, make sure I don't go any further through that one. And carry on and see what occurs. Okay, hopefully that'll stay in focus now. So we are all cleaned off, well, sanded off. A couple of bits to do some repairs with a bit of epoxy primer. There's a bit of aluminium bonnet, there's a bit of corrosion there, gone through the alley there, so I'm going to brush in a bit of epoxy over that. Little stone chip there, bit of epoxy over that, we'll fill that in. But other than that, we're looking good. So what I'm going to do now, I've got some nice bucket of fresh clean water. Just give this a proper rinse over, make sure it's super clean. So mixed up a bit of epoxy primer, small brush, and just dab in these little bits that need doing. Use it really like a filler as well, and because it's on aluminium underneath here, the epoxy will stick to that nicely, hopefully. Alright, so you can see now the way this primer acts like a filler, so it's quite a lump there, so I'll be able to flat that back to flat, get rid of that chip, and across here as well, plenty on there, so should be able to sand that back with a bit of 600 grit, like so, and tidy that up ready for paint. Yeah, quick flat back, and that's all nice and smooth now, and across there. So next step, give it a bit of a wipe in, because I'm doing this over a few different days as I'm using the car and what I've only got time. So I'll give this a wipe down now and mask off the rest of it and give this a bit of paint. Right, all masked off with the best Timu wrapping paper and a bit of a dust sheet up there. Not a mega job, but like I said before, this is just a tart up job. So my intention for this is just to go over these bits that have rubbed through, get some colour on them, leave that set off for 15 minutes or so, and then go over again. Let's cover up Mrs. Dave's car so we don't turn that red. The wind is blowing slightly that way. Right, okay, so the edges are done in. Let's give it a coat and see what we get. I think that's gone down okay. Give that 10 to 15 minutes now and then see how we get on. Right, coat 2 has gone on without too many dramas. Bit of dirt has dropped in there and a couple of bits and bobs that we can possibly knock those out later on when we come to flat the car back. But stop the camera doing that. That's looking pretty good. And that's only taken what was left of the previous can, which is a little bit just go around the edges from doing the wing, and one can has 2 coats on the bonnet, so happy with that. Right, that's all set off nicely. I'm going to stick with 2 coats because the sky is doing that and we don't want it raining on it. So I'm a bit nervous. I'll do another coat. I think it's going to, the next couple of hours or so, it might start raining. So I'll demask this now and see what it looks like over the next few days. If it needs another little flat back and another coat, then so be it. But I think it looks alright. So an update on the paint on the Mazda. So this has been on now for a few weeks, especially the wing has been on for a couple of weeks. And this Rattle Can paint is nice, and it is what it is for, because it's a cheap way to paint a car. But as it's setting off and hardening up, it is dropping into the cracks, into the scratches. And I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but even more so, it's a bit dirty it is because I've been using it, this is my car. But the scratches are showing up on the bonnet as well. So that's a little bit of a downside, although it still looked better than the scabbiness that was there. Okay, thanks again for watching. My intention for this video was to put it together as I painted the entire car, but it's taken a lot longer because I could only do little bits. This video, just painting the bonnet, took over a week in itself. No, longer than that actually. I forget. It was a long time just doing the bonnet alone, so it's going to take forever to do the entire car. So this we'll return to it as I do each bit. I do a video on each bit I do. The time of year getting against us now, it's now middle of October, heading towards November in the winter, and it's getting colder and it's getting wetter. You can see his paint dots on the bonnet there. So that's going to be against us for doing any more. But so I thought I'd put this out as it was, with just doing the bonnet. It gives an idea of how we can go. A couple of things learned from it. I only did 2 coats on the bonnet, and that's dropped into the scratches more than the 3 coats did on the wing. So I think 3, probably 4 coats is probably what it needs, and each coat does get nicer to put down. So I think as I go forward, I'll probably do 3 or 4 coats moving onto the next panel as I do them. But again, I can't stress enough, this is just a quick paint over job just to tart it up, because it was looking scabby, just a bit fresher. So stand back 10 foot and it looks lovely, and that's fine for you know, it's only called this spray. It's proper spray cans mixed up with a proper spray shop, so it's not like cans from Halfords. But again, they're only £15 a can, so it's considerably cheaper than buying it the 2-pack paint. But there's a trade-off with that. The 2-pack paint sprays considerably better, and eventually I probably will give this little car a proper strip down and proper paint over sometime in the future, but not now. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the other stuff. I'm still on half working on the Escort, of course, and getting the engine in. You notice on the next video that comes out eventually, the engine cam cover has become a certain shade of red. You know, had a bit of paint left over in the tin. Don't want to waste it. Got to use it now. See you in the next one. Hello, boy.